first of all, good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
How's Houston been treating you? How's NostalgiaCon been for you guys?
So good. Fantastic.
Awesome, awesome.
Awesome, fantastic. Anyone's first time in Texas, or everybody been here before?
Born and raised.
Born and raised, awesome.
Same.
Cool.
We're all Texans, so how about that?
Let's see a show of hands.
I can tell,
Born and raised.
you
Born and
were
raised.
Houston.
Yeah, Texas.
So, let's jump right into it. One Piece started in America in 2004, and to this day is still the #1 running manga and anime across the world. And you guys are a huge part of that legacy now. How does that feel for all of you?
Wait, what show? Oh, I'm sorry, One Piece, okay.
Oh yeah, One Piece. I'm sorry, I thought I said something else.
You know, I don't think any of us knew what was going to happen. And we are so excited. You guys are the most amazing fans, and we're just thrilled to be in Oda's world. And I remember when we first auditioned, for some of us that auditioned in the very, very beginning and saw wanted posters on a table in a break room, for a small break room. It's not fancy like it is now. And thinking, what is it? There was all this buzz in the building. And they asked us if we would be available for 5 years. So it's been a little bit longer.
I was gonna say that must have been about 15 years ago when they asked you that.
A little bit, but how
More like
marvelous.
20.
So, y'all are incredible. Thank you to the fandom and the genius of Oda for keeping this thing going.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I actually did have a question because Oda has proven himself to be just a masterful storyteller. Like things that happen all the way in season or like the first arcs of the series now have connections all the way to where we are at now. I won't spoil it, relax. I'm not gonna say what happens on Egghead. Although I want to just to make some of y'all mad, but I won't do it. But
I will, if you want.
I mean, if you do it, they can get mad at you. They can get mad at me and beat me up later, so.
I dare you to get mad at me.
But to see like how the story not only has progressed, but how you can see the connections he made all the way then to now. What is that like even from the creative side of things where you guys are to see like how he made those connections even way back then?
Well, there's some stuff like the first time that we see Shanks. Hi, I'm Brandon Potter. I play Shanks. So there's some stuff that we can see in this sort of like storytelling relays an element very, very early in the show that comes through in the end. At the beginning of the show, we see Shanks so like fatherly and kind and sweet and lovely, but even in that like guns aren't for threats, they're for actions moment, we see him do some really hard stuff like kind of immediately. And of course, I think that mirrors like how powerful we see him later in the show. So he leaves one little breadcrumb. Like he's not just a nice guy with a great smile and a beautiful voice. He's also a really, really heavy hitter.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that was another thing I was going to bring up. That could kind of be said almost about any character in One Piece, no matter what. Even like some who would seem like minor characters, when they're unleashed in certain episodes, just shine through. How is that for each of you to get characters like character moments like, you know, no matter what side of, you know, good or bad that you're on, you just got to showcase just how powerful your character was. For each of you, what did that feel like?
I should answer. When I was very first cast in One Piece, I was actually cast as a character named Lucky. This was many, 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 many moons ago. And so then to come back and get to play Boa was, you know, a really nice, amazing surprise. And then get to see her character grow and bloom and expand and have a whole backstory and a whole life and, you know, fall madly in love with Luffy. That, you know, it's all very unexpected. But it's been a really, really cool journey. I think the depth and breadth of the show just marks a really, I don't know, it's really smart and intelligent world building. And to get to really investigate each of these characters more deeply with each new show, with each new season, I think is just really cool. And yeah, it speaks to the creator and how brilliant they are. I don't know if that answered the question, but that's my answer.
Well, hello. I can say the same. Well, my character's introduction
I'm Admiral Kizaru, for those that don't know.
Woo!
Thank you. His introduction was pretty tough initially. And I mean, one of the things I love about him is that he's so chill, he's so laid back. I mean, I tell people he's like me minus -10. And but he knows he can win, he can beat everybody there.
Yeah.
So he'd rather not fight, but he obviously will. It's like, okay, if you want to go, let's go. But his introduction was spectacular to me, and nobody's able to stop him in the process. Zoro is, spoiler alert, I almost killed Zoro. So, you know, it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? And then he draws the scene out. You know what I mean? So it's just to show you how powerful he is. So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer in my mind that this guy's going to be awesome in voice. So yeah.
And then also the other, oh, I'm sorry, I was just saying.
Well, no, I mean, I don't like have anything super important to say, but I consider myself a nice, easygoing guy, and so to get to play characters like Arlong and Blackbeard, who are not that at all, is in a way somewhat therapeutic, because you get to put out all that rage and that anger in the booth, and then you leave, you go home, you want to take a nap, I mean, you don't have to take it out on anyone else, like I got a daughter, she thinks I'm a nice guy, at least I think she does. And so, I don't have to, unleash Arlong on her, as it were. And that sounded weird. But anyway, it's fun. It's fun to be angry and crazy, and then you don't have to be anymore, right?
For me, Sean Hennigan, everybody.
Yeah.
As you all know, when Gol D Roger first appeared and started the show, he was there and gone, right? And so for him to come back after all that time and you find out a few things about him, that was the most glorious thing for me. That simple. Thanks, everybody. Oh, you want?
Well, with Robin, it was so interesting with Nico, in which, when she first comes on as Miss All Sunday and everything is all cool and dark, and then she has her moment, and then he's lobby, and then becomes a person. And I love the fact that with her character arc, how much she changes because she's been through so much tragedy and she's just getting by. And then she finds her friend family, which this is the thing I love about this whole One Piece. Like, the actors in this show are awesome. They are such good people. And we get so excited to come to these things and see each other and to be with you and be here. But it's this beautiful world. But I love the idea that you can have a chosen family, the people that love you and you can count on them. And I will never forget when she started laughing and would smile. And then by Wano, we're telling jokes. So, it was really awesome to see her grow.
I was gonna say, it feels like even for the villains of One Piece, right? Each one of them has okay, Arlong, the evil fish guy, Blackbeard, evil, and even Kizaru is like, another admiral we gotta deal with. But when you get further into the story, everyone has a backstory. Everyone has something interesting. So how did that feel to know, even maybe you didn't see it when you first got the parts and everything, but the further you went with the character, you saw oh, this is a full-on person, not just a stereotype. How did that feel to see that level of storytelling?
I'll say this just quickly, that there were some One Piece fans that brought the manga of Robin's backstory to prepare me. Because I don't read ahead, I don't look ahead. I think some of us really like being surprised in the booth. It's good just to be there so you're not overthinking things. I love to do that. And they brought this manga, and I was like, I don't read ahead. And they went, no, really, read this. And I did, and I got it. And oh man, what he's created, just the depth of these characters, and just when Chopper's ripped your heart out and you think you can't cry anymore, someone else comes along. But that's the thing, I think that we have tragedy and how they overcome. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but this show has you laughing and crying all at the same time.
do we know a lot about Shanks' backstory?
I was actually going to mention that because I was going to say, and there are characters we still don't know a lot about, and I was kind of hoping you would bring that up because I was going to mention that because for all the One Piece lore that we have, there is a ton we do not know. And one of my favorite things is that we don't know a lot about Shanks and we don't know a lot about Blackbeard. We just have theories.
Good.
But, yeah. But there are two things I can confirm about both.
It should be.
They're absolute beasts, and I cannot wait to see them fully unleashed. So, how excited are y'all for when that day finally comes? Because I feel like it's on the way.
I'm looking forward to it because in my head, Blackbeard takes the One Piece, kills the Straw Hat Gang, and
Boo
wins.
this man. Boo this man.
And I feel like that's going to be the end of the story, that Blackbeard takes all. No, but on that one thing, like as to seeing the roundness of a character, Arlong has a great arc. Although I didn't find out about the rest of that arc until about a decade later. You know, when he comes back and there's some flashbacks with Jim May and Fisher Tiger and all that, and you learn the backstory that humans had treated the Fishman horribly all along and killed his father, all this stuff. You're like, oh, he's totally justified. Kill those humans. That's what I say. Right.
It's so the scary moments you're like, oh wow, I kind of see the villain's point. That doesn't help.
It's kind of like, Thanos had a good point.
Yeah, that's
Boo this man. Boo this man.
I mean, you watched the movie. It was a good point.
I think we have another guest.
I'm sorry, hey everybody, I'm crashing. Is that cool?
That's
Is it cool
cool.
to crash? Hi, I'm John Gremillion. I play Mihawk in One Piece. How's it going?
Okay, real quick. If you thought I was going to stop Mihawk from getting up here, then I think you missed part. I'm a One Piece.
How did that even happen?
I thought we ran to grab you. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I was back at my table and said, "There's a One Piece now." I'm going, "What?" So I say,
well, since you're here, I'll ask you a direct question. How do you feel voicing Mihawk? What's it like to voice a character like that?
It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite characters to voice. Mostly because I don't ever have to scream. Everybody in One Piece has to scream, and you don't have to scream very much.
We are so fortunate.
We are very, very blessed. Oh, thank you, sir. So, I just have to show up every couple of years and go, "Hello, I'm a badass, goodbye," and that's all I have to do. They put me in Stampede, the movie, and I said, "Hey, great, I'm going to be in a movie." You know what happened? I had 2 lines. "I'm a badass, I'm out of here." That's all he does. It's fantastic. It's a great role.
And he still had some of the coolest moments in the show. I think that was another moment for me when I could tell this was going to be something different. When characters like Mihawk appeared in one slice was cutting ships in half. I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was in episode 1. This is a way different anime than I expected. And Mihawk's another character who we know so little about, and I feel like there's more to tell with his character.
I hope so. I hope there's some more backstory with him, like what made him go against the Marines. So there's got to be some backstory. So I'm looking forward to, if that happens, that'd be great.
Yeah. So you all have, you voice your characters and you have done this for years at this point, but then you start going to conventions and you see the impact directly of the anime and what you all have done specifically. What is that like for all of you to see the fans and what the anime has meant to them, and specifically what you all have done for the characters that they love?
Well, we started this 20 years ago, and I feel like there's not a lot of faces that are a whole lot older than 20 in the house tonight. So let me set the scene for you. 20 years ago, anime was not cool. 25 years ago, anime was not cool.
No, it wasn't.
It's closer to 30. I'm just saying.
It was not cool, and if people were watching anime, dubs were the least cool, right? Everyone wanted to watch subs so they could get the original Japanese performances. So starting this journey, it was a lot of times like dubbing anime was sort of every actor's like dirty little secret they had to do to pay rent, and we could see that it made people happy, but it's not something that I sort of advertised. I wanted to make, I don't know, art, Shakespeare, do the new avant-garde play where we roll around in trash bags and whatever, and then over the years, anime went mainstream, and after sort of COVID, people, they wanted a lot of content, and they wanted to be able to listen to it while they were cooking or studying or whatever. So then suddenly, dubs are the thing. So to go from like living in the shadows, little Morlocks, to coming up into the sun and getting to interact with people and getting to see the sort of impact that we're making and see it like in a broad cultural sense is incredible and not something anyone could have ever predicted. predicted. I don't think. I mean, this is bonkers what's happening right now. When I left conventions, it would be like, this is like 15 years ago. It would be like the Miami Student Union would get together $800 to pay you to come and talk anime for the weekend, right?
There were a lot of mall appearances.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when I came back, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. My first con back after that, 15 years ago, was Anime Expo, and like there were tens of thousands of people there, and Sony and Disney were everywhere. And I was like, "Are we sure this is? Am I supposed to be here? Like, what is going on?" And then of course the fans, right? For years, people were like, "Oh yeah, you do anime, you're weird." And now, I get to talk to people that these stories mean something to, and have these incredible interactions. It's a journey that I never would have thought possible, and it's because of you guys.
And I think with one, yes, round of applause for
Absolutely,
that.
yeah, go for it.
Brandon's spot on. I think we're all just amazed, but I think with this show and the heart of One Piece in particular, since we're talking about One Piece, just again, we talk about the family aspect a lot and the closeness and the kindness of the fans that watch the show. I know for me, I never expected, it was very humbling when someone came to my table and said, the I want to live moment made them want to live. And then it came again and again. And I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, I know that moment meant a lot to me, but I had no idea. And it's just incredible how the storytelling is so powerful. But I know for me that I didn't know that was going to be one of the most important moments of my acting career, because it's meant something to other people that has encouraged them to keep going. So it is very humbling, and I know it's just an honor to be able to be a part of this story.
To kind of take off of that a little bit, my mother is a nurse. My sister is a nurse. I'm sorry, not my mother. But my sister is a nurse, and she tells me, Chris, I save people's lives all the time, every day. I was like, Jennifer, you have no idea how many people come up to us and tell us that this show or that anime changed or saved their lives. I was like, so I'm a doctor too. Anyway.
And I think it's moments like that, because the I Want to Live moment I've heard from several people have commented how that brought them out of their own depression, because they realize they actually do have people who care about their thing. But I think not just that, but it's the fact that you guys created the characters and you put such passion into what you do. Like the I Want to Live, in all your, even with something like Mihawk, just that the cold delivery still is, that's who he is.
You should totally do the beard, by the way. I'm just saying. It would look great on you.
I think it looked fantastic. But because of that, I think even with, like I said, even with the villains, everyone has someone they can relate to in some way, and the story's so engrossing that it brought something together. How has it felt to see, like, not just the fans, but see it, like, on a cultural level? Like, you go into almost any store now, it's got to have something, one piece, something like a placard or the section with shirts has to be one piece. How does that feel to see that in, like JCPenney? It has to have something one piece in there. How does it feel that?
How about when the anniversary of One Piece happened and they lit up Times Square? That was insane. It was amazing. And it all happened very, very recently. I think from what I understand, everybody started to binge One Piece. A lot of people who didn't know One Piece started to binge it during lockdown. And so we got a whole new renaissance of people interested in the series. And then when the live action hit, we were like, please be good. And it was a smash, and it's awesome. And I love the live action. They killed it.
Yeah,
I really loved it. And I'm looking so forward to the future of it. So it's like, it was a total surprise. Because I've been doing it for so long. In 2007, when I first did Mihawk, I was like, I didn't know what this was. I just walked in the studio, Mike said, you want to play this role? I'm like, yeah, all right. Who's this? And you never know. It's fabulous.
That's fantastic. And I was actually going to bring up the live action, because the live action One Piece is one of the few adaptations of an anime that I said, that's it. They captured the spirit of it. Is that how all of you felt when you watched it?
There were a couple others that I thought passed that test.
Yeah.
That fans didn't appreciate, but yes.
I feel that way sometimes too.
One Piece obviously knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
For sure. But I thought the Cowboy Bebop was actually really.
I
really
thought that
good.
was pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. I really
And
did think that was
you
good.
guys got it canceled, but that's cool. That's cool. I'm not gonna hold it against you. But no, I mean, I just thought that would have done better than it did.
We are all so excited
Oh,
season
definitely.
2 is happening. And of course, I cannot wait to see Lara Abova. I think that's how we say her name. I think she's going to be a brilliant Robin and the
Yes.
other characters that are coming in. And right, I think all of us were really nervous because we've been voicing the show for so long. We really care about it. Like, I love Robin. I love her. And we feel this way about our characters. So we just, felt like there was a lot invested in the storytelling and the story. And I think we were all so relieved when we were like, this is so good. I was on a plane going to a con with Ian Sinclair, the brilliant Brooke. And woo, Ian. And we were both on the plane and he said, Stephanie, have you seen the live action? I was like, I'm afraid to watch it. I'm afraid I won't like it and I don't want to not like it. He goes, you have to watch it. And so on the plane I watched it and I had to get up mid-flight and go to him and go, this is so good. He's like, I know. We were both, we're way too into this. We're so into this.
That's exciting though. That's good.
And it was. We kind of teared up. It was like, oh, this is so fabulous.
So so according to Oda, he is planning to end it within the next couple of years. And this will be the last question before as we wrap it up. What do you all think you will personally take from the series once it's actually over? And instead of saying to be continued, it'll say the end. What do you think each of you will take from the series when it's done? No? Let's go down the line. Ray, can we start with you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like they were just saying, I mean, we put so much of ourselves into the characters with the intent to bring them a certain realness, because I always say if we don't believe it, you're not going to believe it. And you want to leave something, with the fans. You want to leave something that's, I'm hoping that it leaves this lasting memory that not only carries over into the generation that picked it up during COVID, but also, generations to come, because it's a great story, it's a great concept, it's lasted as long as it has, and I just hope the legacy of it endures. I don't think it's ever going to end. I think they're going to upload Oda's consciousness into a computer, and in perpetuity, it'll always exist. Because honestly, I'm going to miss it. Like, I can't tell you how many years it's been where just One Piece has been a thing. And we tease each other about it, like, because of all the characters and everything. Like, oh, you haven't worked on One Piece? Well, you will, kind of thing. You will be. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be something that is sorely missed, just in its presence around. I mean, with Dragon Ball, there's always something, that was always kind of going on, and the sort of series came back, but so you never had to miss anything, I guess. But this one, I think, is going to be sorely, sorely missed. Like a deep,
It'll be a bummer not to get new bits of the story for sure, but I think that the connections with the fans will go on. I mean, like, parents are getting their kids into it, and their kids are going to get their kids into it. So I don't think that, like, hanging out with you guys is going to stop once they find
not that part,
And that gives me a degree of solace, I guess, with the bittersweetness of ending something like this that's been going on for so long and meant so much.
You guys will make One Piece live forever.
There we go.
There it is. And Oda's
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. I think the thing I'll take away is to really just an immense sense of gratitude for having been able to be a part of it at all, and not knowing where it was going to go or where it was going to take me. Like the fact that that the show has allowed me to get out of the booth and come to conventions and meet people. That is huge. So I would say just a lot of gratitude for the ability to be able to do it. And then from a perspective of Boa specifically, I would say just to move through the world, with all of your broken bits as confidently and powerfully as you possibly can, because you can overcome whatever traumas of your past, just like she did. So, that's what I would take away.
So, Lydia and I, how many years ago? 2008. 2008. We did a show together. It was a Shakespeare play. guys have heard of Shakespeare, right? William Shakespeare. Everybody knows William Shakespeare. Everybody knows that his plays were written 500 years ago almost, and they're still being performed today, made into movies. My prediction is that One Piece is going to be Shakespeare.
I agree.
And mic drop. Oh, y'all, I can't even think about it. You know, Robin has been part of my life, just part of my life all these years. And then the family that, I keep saying the word family because we are, and just the actors that have come together, the closeness that we have, and the shared experience of being part of such brilliant storytelling. So much gratitude along the way. Thankfully we do have this forum of meeting each other and seeing each other at these conventions. It's like they said, it will go on, because we've grown up together. 20 years we've grown up together, and so hopefully
We were
will
young
still
ones.
connect. Connect on those banana gators from here on out. So thank you guys.
I hope I'm recording One Piece for years to come. I mean, if they don't get to my final battle with Zoro soon, then Mihawk's going to be in a rascal scooter again. Zoro!
And still cutting ships in half.
Stand still! Just throw a sword at him. No. What I really love about this show the most, and this really hit home with me as I watched the live action as well, I'm really happy about the fact that One Piece got a lot of people through the lockdown, and they loved it because of that, because it kind of coincides for me. It's a parallel between, there's something about the show about having a crew, having a tribe, having your friends back you. That's such a huge theme of that show, and we're social creatures, and we didn't like being on lockdown, we didn't like feeling alone, and the fact that that show with that theme helped get people together around something like One Piece is awesome. I love that, and that's the best thing that I take away from it. That's the best message I get from the show, and I just, I will say one more thing. I was in Connecticut with Mike McFarlane, and I forgot who else was there. Kyle Phillips, I think, was there. They both work on One Piece and they know everything, and I didn't know much about it, but somebody said, what do you think the One Piece is? You think it's going to end? And Mike said, I think it's a big red button inside of a thing, and Luffy goes, what's that? Hits it, the whole show starts all over again. It's like, no! So it's a big 25-year punk, but anyway, thank you so much, folks.
I can see that happening. Thank you guys so much. Give these wonderful, wonderful people a big round of applause. We thank you guys for bringing One Piece to us. We love y'all.